I know what you might be thinking about this video. Okay, this is a pretty minor topic in the grand scheme of things. There are other players on the market that are probably worth more value. There are other guys that are a lot more superstar-ish than this player right here. But I wanted to talk about this guy because when it comes to Chicago's Dominik Kubalik, I do think that this is one of the guys that could prove to be a big bargain for whichever team goes out there and tries to acquire his rights in any kind of a trade. So let's go over the profile here before we dive into what's been going on with Kubalik. This is a former Calder contender. 26 years old, 6'2", 179, a left-handed left-wing player, making $3.7 million a season. That expires this year. He will be an RFA after this contract, and he will be 1 year away from unrestricted free agent status. So if he signs an extension that's 1 year long, he will be a UFA by the time next offseason rolls around, seeing as he'll be 27 years old. Initially drafted by the Kings, he spent most of his career overseas. He was a guy who played in the Swiss League, was really good for Amber Piota, made his way over to the NHL, and as a rookie in 2019-20, had 30 goals and 46 points in 68 games played. Yeah, 30 goals as a rookie, pretty great. This season, though, Dominik Kubalik has 21 points in 58 games played. He is on pace for 30 points flat in a full 82-game season. Now, the way his career has gone down, he was a lot more effective, he was a lot more accurate, and he was a lot more potent offensively in his first two seasons than he was this year. You do the math on his last season, 38 points in 56 games played. Let's do that right here. 38 divvy 56 multiplied out by 82. On pace for 55 points, and do the goals right here. He had 17 goals last year as well, on pace for a total of 25 goals. Now, that's not his rookie season by any means, but his rookie season was still a much better year than what he has showed off in the years after. Now, for Kubalik, because there is this uncertainty with where the Chicago Blackhawks are heading, their direction is kind of up in the air right now. We don't know if they're going to go full-on rebuild, trade away everybody, get a whole bunch of draft picks, go the Arizona route, or if they're going to keep certain young guys like Doc or Kubalik or DeBrincat. It's kind of up in the air right now with the Blackhawks, but because there is indeed a growing sentiment that the Blackhawks could go out there and trade some of these younger guys, Kubalik's name has entered the trade conversation. We're going over onto The Athletic and taking a look at what they have to say on this piece right here. Blackhawks trade deadline big board, the latest on Marc-Andre Fleury, Brandon Hagel, and more. This article was written by Mark Lazarus and Scott Powers. The link will be in the description below. Again, though, because it's The Athletic, we're not going to go ahead and read and screenshot this. We're going over onto NHLTradeRumours.me instead, because they talk about what exactly the asking price has been set for when it comes to Dominik Kubalik and what the Blackhawks could be asking for in a potential trade for this player. According to Lazarus and Powers, the Blackhawks are looking for a second-round pick in any potential trade involving Kubalik. This article then goes over, it says, okay, final year of his contract, he will be an RFA, he's eligible for UFA status. Lazarus and Powers also noted that there is an 80% chance that we will see a move occur. Now, 80%, that's really big. Like, that is a lot more likely than not likely. We are going to see a Kubalik trade if you're going to look at the odds and try to make it seem like, okay, the odds are going to dictate what happens over here. And for me personally, I take a look at Dominik Kubalik and I say that he could be a pretty good pickup for any NHL team that wants to go out there and try to revive him next year. I say that because as a 30-goal, 25-year-old, like, of course, I get it, he's, like, pretty old, right? He was 24, 25 when he made his debut in the NHL. But as a guy who had 30 goals in his first season, and you take a look at how he's playing now, there is only 2 years removed from those showcases. This year, he's got 11 goals, but he went on a super long goalless drought. He scored his first goal in, I think it was 10, 11 games against the Oilers the other night, and that goal wasn't even the most impressive goal that he could have scored. It was a giveaway behind the Oilers' net. Kubalik pounced over onto the half-boards and he just shot it. A lot of Blackhawks fans I've seen have been super frustrated with Kubalik this season because this guy gets opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, passes out in front, open slot shots, and plays out onto the side where he has looks to the net, he just whiffs on those chances. He has not been the same lethal shot like he has been in 2 seasons prior. And so for this year, this is like the ultimate definition of a down year, a stinker of a year where almost everything he throws towards the goal is not going towards the goal because the puck is bouncing away to the corner instead. His scoring touch of the past few years has sort of withered away, and that's why I believe that should you go out there and try to trade for a Dominik Kubalik, let's say the price is a second-round pick only, this is one of those players where if you really feel like you can revive his career, a second-round pick is pretty small of a price. Now, there is indeed a bigger conversation that is brought into Kubalik because he does need a new contract. It's kind of why he's in this peculiar trade scenario situation in the first place, but it's just super unfortunate for him because, you know, he's a good NHL player, 30 goals, rookie, Calder runner-up, etc., etc., but like, the year where he needs a new contract, 1 year away from UFA status, this is the year where he goes out there and craps the bed in terms of being able to score goals, which was his bread and butter the past few years. Yeah, it's unlucky for him that his contract year is his slump year, but what are you going to do? Other NHL teams are going to look at that and say, okay, do we want to go out there and try to pay you of today, or do we want to go out there and try to pay the you that existed 2 years ago? Because the you that existed 2 years ago, do the math on this right here, 30 divvy 68 multiplied out by 82. Dominik Kubalik in his rookie year was on pace for 36 goals over a full season. That's not insignificant in the slightest, and that's not something that you could go out there and realistically say is worth $3.7 million. That's a guy that's worth a lot more than that. And so 3.7 right now for a player on pace for 30 points over 82 games. Honestly, that's a pretty big overpayment. Like, I wouldn't really feel comfortable giving another $3.7 million AAV contract to a guy who's going to get 30 points in a full season. I'd feel more comfortable in the 2.7-ish range, 2.6. And so for Dominik Kubalik, the conversation becomes a lot more interesting when you incorporate the trade conversation into this as well, but because they did label the odds, you know, the odds of him actually being traded at 80%, I do feel like we are going to see a trade happen within the next few days. Because I said this with Jeff Petrie, I'll say this again for Dominik Kubalik. Any team that's going to go out there and try to make a trade for this guy and try to give him a contract extension, you have to believe in your heart you're not getting the Dominik Kubalik of 2021-2022. You're getting the Dominik Kubalik that was able to go out there with consistent 25-plus goal potential every season, and who was just super good as a trigger man on the power play for the Blackhawks all those years ago. This year, he's whiffing on pucks, he's fanning on his shots, he's definitely not as consistent as he had been before, but you got to be able to brush that off. The Blackhawks are a bad team. He's not playing with the same consistency because not a lot of other players on the Blackhawks are playing with the same consistency. Kirby Dach is having somewhat of a down year compared to what people expected out of him. You have other players that are performing very strangely, like Jonathan Toews has 21 points. Sure, you still have DeBrincat and Kane, who are doing pretty well. DeBrincat's probably going to score 40 goals, and Patrick Kane is over a point per game by a long shot. So it's just kind of all over the place here for Chicago, and Kubalik seems to have gotten the short end of the stick in that respect. So when it comes to the trade price and everything going on with this guy, I'm always on the more optimistic side of players. I always want to believe in the best that they can offer. And so if you offered me Dominik Kubalik or the rights to signing Dominik Kubalik for a second-round pick, based off of what Kubalik could be, I'd take that. I signed him to a contract, and I want to play this guy in the power play, play him on the top unit, play him in the top six, give this guy a chance to show that the 30-goal player we saw 2 years ago was not a fluke and that he actually is a lot better than him whiffing on all these chances like he is this year. So, talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Dominik Kubalik and the idea of him getting traded? If you're a fan of the Blackhawks, are you okay with the way things are shaping out? Do you want a second-round pick and only a second-round pick should Kubalik actually be traded? Do you agree with Lazarus and Powers that the chances of him getting traded are about 80% to 20%? If you're a believer in that, let me know in the comments. If you're a disbeliever in that, let me know in the comments as well. Why do you not think Kubalik will get traded or not get traded or whatever if you disagree? Could you offer up a scouting report if any other team goes out there and acquires this guy? What are you expecting out of Kubalik in a new NHL home? Do you think he's going to go out there and still be slumping in the way that he has been this season? Or do you think a change of scenery could really revive his career? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed. This was Charles 99. and bye.